What's going on, YouTube? Just gonna wrap up this Saturday night here with this little video, which I have something planned, but before I get into it, I wanted to show this. This is the car that Vic, formerly known as Cambodian Holiday, gave a post-race look to, and I was going through getting ready to list a bunch of stuff on eBay and found a little baggie of Real Riders. And I was like, oh wow, those would actually look really good on it because they're not too shiny and chrome looking. I think it looks really good. But I think what I'm going to do is give this car a flat clear coat, because I've noticed when handling it, I feel like my hands get kind of dirty, so it just needs a seal. So I'm going to do that, and then I might paint the interior. I'm undecided on that, but I really dig the wheels. I think it makes it look much, much better. So there's that. Now, I wanted to get into a video. Last week I did a video about the different brands of diecast. And this is a brand that I've shown in videos, but I've never done a video on this particular brand, at least to the point where I'm dedicating a whole video to it. So, starting with this 1932 Ford. So, I don't know if you guys can tell which brand this is by looking at this car. It's an awesome little car. Opening doors, metal body, metal base. It does have plastic tires. But you have to remember, this car, I don't know when it came out, but it's actually a metal body and a plastic base. But this car came out in like 1983 or something like that. There you go. It's a plastic base, but most of the base consists of the running boards and fenders, so most of it is die-cast. But anyways, it's Ertl. So this one has chipped paint. I can see some paint chipping, which is crazy because I pulled this thing out of the package myself, and it was dead mint when I did it. So, and it's been in storage, so I have no idea how those flea bites are happening. But a really cool car for the 1932 Ford. So this is just one of their regular just regular releases. But in the late 70s, early 80s, Ertl was the brand that had all the movie licenses and not, like, you know, that kind of stuff. So Hot Wheels was doing stuff with like superheroes, Captain America and Hulk. But Ertl was doing like movie and television stuff. So to kind of start, here is the GMC pickup from Fall Guy. This is an early, I think, there you can see the Fall Guy logo. Early 1980s on this as well. Now, the rear axle, you can see, is bent. Other than that, it's in pretty good shape. Paint's in pretty good shape. It's just that rear axle that is jacked up. A wheel swap would fix that, but I don't like drilling, especially stuff like this. You know, this truck is, it's not that hard to find, but it is getting harder to find. So that's one of the licenses they had, was with Fall Guy. This one here is pretty cool too because right now, today, you see a ton of this stuff with green light. And I mean, the green light stuff is so much nicer, but check out, I mean, this is what it was back in the early 80s. This was your Smokey and the Bandit diecast right here. A little Ertl Trans Am. Really cool little car. We got the Screaming Chicken on the hood, a very weak attempt at it. This car is pretty much loose mint. All the paint still has its shine. Tampos are really good. The chrome on the wheels is really good. This one does have a metal base. Not sure what year this one came out. Opening doors on this casting. They don't do a very good job, I've noticed, with their steering wheels. They're almost not even there. But I don't know, for the time, pretty cool car. Because I think the casting itself, personally, I think this is a nicer tooling than what Hot Wheels was putting out at that time, as far as Pontiac Firebirds go. So that's your Smokey and the Bandit. So there's your Fall Guy and your Smokey and the Bandit. And then the big one that they had, and I remember my grandma on my dad's side, they lived in Indiana, in rural Indiana. I mean, they had land and stuff like that, and she would buy these things, and she had, like, my grandpa had pegboard in his garage, and all these things hung on the pegboard, and just all kinds of toys, diecast, dolls, and they would just buy this stuff and just, like, put it in the garage to keep. I don't know what happened to it. I'm sure they probably sold it all off. They both passed away, I don't know, 20 years ago. But I remember as a kid, seeing this stuff, and I would get so excited because something about this car with the colors, it just stands out. You can see it from anywhere. I remember as a kid seeing these cars hanging on their pegboards, even the multi-packs and all that stuff, and all I wanted to do was just take them down and crack them open and start playing with them. But this is an original Ertl General Lee. It's in okay shape. The sticker, you can see it's all there. The edge of the sticker looks to be whitening, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it came that way back in the day. This is the big issue, is the number 1 sticker on the driver's side is peeling off. Excuse me. So this is my original Ertl General Lee. Now, I found this right before I started collecting seriously at an antique mall for, I think it was like $7. So that was probably 3 years ago for $7. Right now, you can't even find these things at antique malls because the second they get put out, somebody buys them. And you just don't. I mean, I shop antique malls all the time. Many, many different huge antique malls, and very, very regularly. And it's been years since I've seen a General Lee, an original Ertl General Lee. I have seen General Lees from time to time, Johnny Lightnings and stuff like that. Here's another one, same car, another original Ertl General Lee. And I think actually it's even the same. I think it's the same casting and everything. 1981, because they have the same base. Nope, the base is a little bit different. Somerville, Iowa, made in Taiwan. So this one's made in Taiwan, so maybe that one is a little bit later. I bet you this is the original. This one has a Singapore base on it. But, I mean, take a look at it. There's very little remnants of anything having to do with the General Lee. The paint is just gone. It's basically a Zamac. It's so bad I can't even get the camera to focus on it. There's a little bit of the Rebel flag on top, not much of it left. And you can see a little bit of the paint left. But just not much of it left. I paid $1 for this at a flea market or something. So this is the Singapore base, and the other one here is the Taiwan base. So I don't know if you guys know. Feel free to comment. I might need to do a little bit more research on that one. So here's some Dukes cars. Here's another Dukes car. This one has a China base, so this one could be one of those like reproductions. Kind of thinking that that's what it is, but it's just a Boss Hogg Cadillac, and it's not a very good casting. It's I think kind of poorly done. It does have the bullhorns on the hood, but it's very, very cheap looking with the white on white, which I know is how the car was, but it's just weak. But I mean, you have to remember too, this is 30 years ago. Yeah, I mean, shit, 37 years ago, almost 40 years ago. So, the purpose of this is because I found in March at down in Tucson at the toy show, I found this 3-pack, and I've seen this 3-pack many, many times. I've seen it online many times. But usually people are asking a lot of money for it. I don't know if it's worth that or not. I guess if it's, if people are paying it, then it probably is. But I've never bought it because of the amount. But I saw it. It was like, I want to say I paid like $16 or something like that for it, which usually when I see it on eBay, it's like between 25 and 35, somewhere in there. So for, the fact that I found it under $20 and I went there with a budget and I had a little bit of extra cash, I went ahead and picked it up. But here, let me show you what it is. This is definitely not an original. It is a reproduction from 1997. But it is still made by Ertl, so this, I think these 3-packs actually came out under Johnny Lightning as well. Later on, I think when RC2 got a hold of Johnny. So this is still under the Ertl name, and I'm wondering if my Boss Hogg Cadillac isn't the exact same Boss Hogg Cadillac. I can already tell you that my Taiwan-based General Lee is a different car. It's not the same car. It's the same tooling, but they have totally different base. So we'll take a look at that too. First thing I want to do though is I want to crack this thing open. The card is not in mint condition. It's not terrible, but it's not mint. And the blister pack is coming off. It kind of actually almost looks like it's been re-glued. I don't believe that to be the case, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Alright, so basically it comes Just a little three-car insert here, and you can just pull that out of the blister. It holds the cars nicely. So I want to start with the Boss Hogg Cadillac here. Now the base code, the font and print of the base code looks identical. The spacing between the base and the body looks identical. They're both made in China. All of that looks identical. So I'm going to say, even though it's a different base code, I'm going to say these are the same car from the same release. So here's the new one. And here's the old one. So you guys be the judge. I definitely do not think that this is an original. But it's still cool. I'm still happy to have it. And now, you know, the one I had was in really good shape. There's nothing wrong with it. Other than the windshield looks like it's getting kind of cloudy. But even this one that I just pulled out looks like it's doing that. There is a little chip or something right there. But for the most part, it's really clean. But the new one, windshield is a little bit better. So there are the two. But again, it's not a car that I get very excited about. So the next car here, I am kind of pretty stoked about this one just because I don't have this car. I had it as a kid. Man, this thing is awesome. It's a 1980 Pontiac Bonneville. That's just awesome. And I dig police cars. Now, granted, this, as you can see, from a detail standpoint or a realism standpoint, this one definitely doesn't pass the test. But when you put this up next to a Hot Wheels police car of that same time, it looks really good. I don't know if I would say it looks better than the Hot Wheels, because Hot Wheels police car back then actually didn't look too bad. But little light bar is, it's interesting how it is inserted in there. You can see how they slide that up through before they install the glass and the interior and before they spin the base onto the body. So it just sits in there loosely, but it's not going to come out or anything like that. But if you were to drill this car to do a wheel swap or something and you pulled the interior and glass out, this would just slide right through. But it is a Hazard County Sheriff car. I don't have anything like it, not even in my Johnny Lightning Dukes of Hazzard collection. So pretty cool addition to the collection, I think. I actually like this car. And it's a freaking 1980 Pontiac Bonneville. You're not going to see a lot of those. I would love to see Greenlight put this car out. Come on, Greenlight, do it. Us collectors, especially of my age, we are ready for vehicles from the 1980s. We're ready for more. We need more. All right, and then this one here this is the big one. This is the main car, and I can already look at it and tell there are a ton of changes. Wow, it looks really good. So let's just take a basic look at it here, and then I'll start to explain some of the differences. So in case you can't tell, all of the graphics they're either tampoed or decaled on. They're not stickers, so this is never going to peel off. I'm sure you could rub it off if it's a tampo. You could take some acetone or something to it and it would come right off. But you don't have to worry about it getting wet and peeling off. And same thing with the flag on top. There is no seam to it. It's almost as if it is blended in and part of the paint job. So the durability on this one I think is going to be a lot nicer. The other thing I thought was different, but as I look here at the other General Lee that I have, it looks like it's the exact same. The interior, it's hard to describe it because it has like a textured, I don't know if I have enough light to show you what I'm talking about. Neither one of them show a steering wheel, which seems to be an Ertl thing. None of their cars seem to have steering wheels. They're molded into the dash and they don't stick out. But they have the same textured style interior. But the base on them is totally different. So this one here that I'm holding is the old one. The one that's sitting on the ground is the new one. You can see that just by the thickness of the rear bumper, how different the bases are. And the stance on this, I think the stance on this car looks great. I mean, that is a really nice stance on that car. That's a great stance for the General Lee. This one here, I mean, it rolls nice and everything, but not the greatest stance. The front end sits really low. So, I don't know. It looks like they retooled the base. Not a big deal. But, see, this car, I'm afraid to just set down. Here, I'll set this one down. Alright, so this is the old one, as you can tell. Here is the new one. So pretty much everything about the base is different. The drivetrain, the exhaust, everything is different, let alone the font and the trademarks. The older one doesn't have a base coat on it. Back then, I don't think base codes was a big thing. I don't even honestly know if Hot Wheels did base codes back then. So, anyways, I just wanted to crack these open and just kind of take a look at them. I'm not the biggest Dukes of Hazzard fan. The show, I mean, I watched it and I will watch it. When I watch it now, it's crazy how corny it is, but I'm not like some crazy like diehard enthusiast of Dukes of Hazzard. Honestly, if it wasn't for Diecast, I would have almost zero interest in Dukes of Hazzard. The only reason I care is because I'm a diecast collector, and Dukes of Hazzard diecast is extremely collectible, and it's really hard to find, especially since the all of that stuff went down with the flag. It's been really hard to come by the stuff, and I think that really drove the price of a lot of the stuff up. So but I do like it. I think in my opinion, and I talked about this actually, there's an app. It's almost like a polling app. And when we were driving to California last September, I had my wife. We were bored in the car on the road, so we did a poll to see what is the most iconic television / movie car of all time. And I think you can only give like 5 or 6 options, but we had obviously the General Lee, we had the Time Machine, we had the Batmobile, and I think we had the Ecto-1, and I think we had Herbie, and I think we had the Bandit Trans Am. And the two cars it was pretty close. But the General Lee won. The second place was the Time Machine. So, regardless of what your thoughts are on this car and the flag and all of that controversy, you cannot deny the fact that this is an American icon as far as cars go, let alone diecast. So, I love it. I think it's awesome to have it. Why does that look so much different? Wow, they retooled the casting too, huh? They retooled the body too. I thought they were the same tooling, but looking at the brake lights, it's definitely a retool. But anyways, that's the video. I'm sitting here rambling on about stuff I know nothing about. But so that is Ertl diecast. I don't have a ton of it. They have not made diecast for a very long time. But as far as I know, Johnny Lightning and Racing Champions kind of took over a lot of the tooling that Ertl had. So, you know, it wasn't uncommon throughout the 90s to find a Johnny Lightning car or a Racing Champions car that was an old Ertl tool. It was actually a very common thing. So, but yeah, there you go. So there's your basic toy car, and then this is all your television license stuff. And I don't know what else they did. I'm sure they had a few other licenses besides Fall Guy and Dukes of Hazzard and Smokey and the Bandit. But it's fun, you know, to do this, to take a break from the Johnny. I mean, there's no doubt I much prefer the Johnny Lightning General Lee to the Ertl, but it also costs about 10 times the price. 5 or 10 times the price. It's a crazy expensive car. So I say if you collect and you don't have a Johnny Lightning General Lee in your collection and you want to at some point get one, I would go ahead and do it, because they get harder and harder to find, and they get more and more expensive to buy. I don't think you can find one loose or on card or otherwise for under $50. And if you can, please let me know, because I will buy it. Alright, that's it. You all have a good night. Not sure if I'll be back tomorrow. I know you're all probably saying, take the day off. We only need one video a week, maybe 2. Not 2 a day. But got the house to myself this weekend, and I've been bored, so I've been doing a lot of die casting. Johnny Lightning, that is where it's at right there. Great die cast. All right, well, I will holler at the next one.